Hey YouTube, how's it going? My name is Kevin, also known as Phoenix, and before we get into the video, I have a very special announcement, and that is that I am partnering up with my local game store, Gamers Hunt in Asheville, North Carolina, to do a bit of a collaboration with my content creation. Pretty much what this means is that I'm going to be posting every other week here on the Gamers Hunt channel, and on the off weeks I'm going to be posting on my personal channel, so be sure to subscribe to both, and let's get on with the video. So for today's video, I have how to get into Modern on a budget. So there are many reasons why people don't get into Modern right away, and the first thought is maybe nerves of the format. You know, it's a new kind of really big format, it doesn't rotate out, so that can be a little scary. Maybe the format knowledge is a little intimidating because there's so many cards to learn. How am I going to know which each deck does? But the main thing that really holds a lot of people back is the price. It is a very expensive format, and I just want to have a huge disclaimer for this video that Modern is a competitive and expensive format. It's very hard to get a deck for cheap, and what some people may consider expensive, some people would also say that's very cheap for the Modern format. For example, $500 is very cheap when you're talking an entire Modern deck, but if you were maybe conversing with a standard player, that would be more on their high end. So just wanted to go ahead and get that disclaimer out there really quickly, and let's proceed on with the video. So the way that we're going to format this video is we're going to do 6 total decks for how to get into Modern on a budget. 3 of these decks are going to be around the $800 range, but if that's still a little bit out of your budget, don't worry, I still have you covered. We're going to be doing 3 more decks that are going to be roughly around the $500 range, and this is going to be a little bit of give and take. You know, I can't precisely get it down to the dollar amount, but generally speaking, these are the price ranges that I'm going for throughout the video. So let's go ahead and look at deck number 1. So for deck number 1, we have Hammer Time, and this is going to be a very good deck to pick up because it's currently the #1 deck in the Modern metagame. Now it is a bit over our price range, sitting at about $950 to $1,000 to pick up the deck, but with a few substitutions, and namely only one substitution really, you can actually knock the price of this deck down fairly substantially. So that is going to be replacing the Stoneforge Mystics. Now this is a very expensive card and it is a very good card, but we can technically substitute this for the Ingenious Smith, which is a much cheaper card. If you're more reliant on having the body in the deck, then you want the Ingenious Smith, but if you just want the effect of the Stoneforge Mystic, which is just search your library for an artifact or specifically an equipment, you're going to want to run a full playset of the Steel Shaper's Gift. Now both of these cards again kind of together fit the role of a Stoneforge Mystic, being both a body and searching out the Colossus Hammer. So I'm going to leave it up to you to decide which one you want to do, but this is going to be the substitution that I recommend. Now the general game plan of the Hammer Time deck, I went over this in my previous video on my other channel a little bit with how to beat Hammer Time, but generally speaking, to put it very simple, you're looking to play a Colossus Hammer, cheat it onto a creature, and win through combat damage. On to deck number 2, we have Tron. Now, normally known as the bad guy deck of Modern, this deck is kind of all over the place when it comes to price. I've seen decks go as low as $550 and some that go all the way up to like $900, even maybe $1,000. So I'm going to put it here in the $800 range, as you can get a $800 version. I just recommend that you go shopping online a little bit for a specific list that you will like. The game plan for the Tron deck is fairly simple. You're looking to combo into your 3 Urza lands, which will net you 7 mana total, and you're using that mana to play very powerful cards such as Karn Liberated and Ulamog Ceaseless Hunger. And for our third deck, we have Eldrazitron, which is going to be similar to regular Tron, but this is more of a mid-rangey creature deck more than a big mana control deck. Now, Eldrazitron is usually about $850 to $950, and it's going to be very hard to make cuts as the list is pretty stock. There's not much you can really wiggle around with in this deck too terribly much, but generally speaking, it's going to be around that price range, so if you can go a little bit higher than $800, I highly recommend picking up this deck. Now the game plan for Eldrazitron is a little different from the regular Tron deck as well, so instead of going big mana control, we're looking to be a aggressive mid-rangey deck that also has a bit of a control element. So we're looking to play cards such as Thought-Knot Seer and Reality Smasher to really deal in a lot of damage, but we can also control the matchup through cards like Karn the Great Creator. Now those decks were a little too expensive for you. Don't worry, we have 3 more options that'll be a bit cheaper, hovering around the $500 price range to get into the deck. So for our first deck in our $500 section, we're going to have Burn. Burn has always been around in Modern and people love it, people know it, and it's just tried and true, always stood the test of time really. So Burn is going to be sitting at around $500 to $600, so a very affordable, great entry level deck that anyone can kind of pick up and know what they're doing. The game plan for the Burn deck is going to be fairly simple. You're just utilizing a bunch of 3 damage burn spells that are going to deplete your opponent's life total as quick as possible. Next on our list we have Dredge. Dredge is usually sitting at about $550 to $600 and has always been known as the graveyard deck of Modern, so if you love graveyard strategies, this might be the deck for you. While the game plan for the Dredge decks can get a little complicated, typically what you're going to look to do is mill over or discard cards such as Golgari Thug to enable your dredge mechanic, and then whenever you draw, instead you're always dredging and you're looking to flood the battlefield with cards such as Narcomoeba and Price and Algrim. So last on our list we have AdNauseam, sitting at about $500 to $550 to get into the deck. This is one of the oldest combo decks in the book that looks to win the game within a single turn. So the game plan for the AdNauseam decks is to win the game on a single turn through the use of a combo. Now you're going to be utilizing cards such as Angel's Grace and Phyrexian Unlife to prevent yourself from losing on the turn you are doing the combo, and you're going to look to draw your entire deck through the use of Spoils of the Vault or AdNauseam itself. You're then going to play a Thassa's Oracle, which will look at the top cards of your library, and if you don't have any more cards in your library, well then you're instantly going to win the game through the effect of Thassa's Oracle. So that's going to do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Please feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below. And again, please check out the description for a link to my socials and to my other channel if you want more content like this. As always, I will see you all in the next video and have a great day. Bye bye.